And Eliezer too. All the best. Everybody else we'll see for Bava Kama hopefully very soon.
28th of December, Rabbi Levitt, Gemorrah.
Robert's here.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Rabbi.
You ready?
Okay, welcome to everybody. Oh, is Robert here?
No,
Oh, okay.
we have Phil, Alan, and Roy.
I'm here, but I'm muting because of noise, background noise.
Okay, very well. Much appreciated. Bez Hashem. So yesterday we did this Rashi Ba'usha Hiskinu, and that is supposed to explain what's the pshat, why Shmuel said there's a difference between the case of the Mishnah and the case of the woman who sells her Niksei Malug. Right. So we said that, right, the Mishnah, the reason the Mishnah says that the son who was deeded the property by the father could now effectively sell it to a purchaser, and the purchaser will keep it, is because the kinyan of the father in the payros of the property that he held back to himself in his lifetime does not prevent the son from selling the property, because kinyan of Paris is lav kinyan aguf dami. That's the case of the Mishnah, and Shmuel said that case is not comparable to the case of the wife with the Niksei Malug. Because why? Because even though the Din Torah says that the husband the husband would not be able to prevent the sale of the wife to a purchaser, to cut him out of the Yerusha, if she would pass away before him. But since in Usha they wanted to favor the husband's shibud, so that would be the reason why the Chazal made this tekanas Usha over here, and that would be the reason why the husband is able to take it away from the lekuchos, from the purchaser, because of the tekana. But without the tekana, then of course it would be kinyan of Paris is lav kinyan aguf. So that's the explanation that we got so far. Okay, and now we are 2 lines from the bottom of 88b, with the words Amar Rav Idi bar Avin. These are the last words in the second line from the bottom of the page. Everybody have that?
88B4.
Okay, so we like to call upon Alan to start off the reading.
This is Omar Rabi.
Amar Rav Edi, 88B4 on the top.
Okay, Gemorrah supports this explanation. Omar Rav Edi Bar Orvin. Rav Edi Bar Orvin said, Af Nami Nor. We also learn of the enactment of Usha in a brisa. Ma'adin or new or ish Poloni Shevin Rash as Ashito, for your son, Kusu, or saw. If witnesses said, we testify about this and this person that he divorced his wife and gave her the kasuba. Ray, he Taptorn over Shameshto. In fact, she was living with him and serving him. Zonamin, and they were found to be Zonamin. Ain Onamin, Yishalmu, Kol, so we do not say that they should pay her the entire kasuba. Ela Tova, Chanoas, Kasu, or but rather discount the amount of her kasuba. Ozaku Tovas, Chanoas, Kasu, and what is the discounted amount of the kasuba? Homodim, Kamor, or Non, wrote said, we pay because to for Shelzo, we assess how much a person is willing to pay now on speculation for the rights to this woman's kasuba. She'im is law or on this brochure, on the chance that if she should be widowed or divorced, the buyer would collect it. The aim may saw your Shenro Bava, while if she should die before her husband, the husband would inherit her, and the buyer would receive nothing.
Okay. We have a long Rashi over here. Arehi Tachtov. Who would like to read this Rashi? Whose turn it is to read the Rashi? Or maybe we'll trade off. The two readers of Rashi will trade off on the this long Rashi.
Yeah, I'm not sure
So
where it
whoever
is.
wants to start. It's the top of the page on Peites Amud Aleph.
Ah,
Oh yes, and with that we have completed 88B. So a round of
Hooray!
applause. Wow. Tremendous accomplishments. That was some page. Okay. So now we're on to
Why, you still hear background noise from me? Because you may have to read it, it's too noisy by me.
It's quiet.
it's okay right now.
Right now it's quiet.
Okay, well, you just tell me when it gets too loud, because I hear the banging in the background. I don't know if it hits the mic. I'll start the Rashi and then you take over. Hare he tachtav, she's under him, so to speak. She's with him. The I vadai nikarsha, if surely she was divorced. Al yidei edim, with witnesses, acherim, other witnesses that came. Ki mishtache, that's forgetting.
no, to I think when they I think it means over here when they found her, like it was like the Aramaic.
Okay,
You know,
so when they discovered her, Kiche Hinech Edim Zomim, and these are found to be false witnesses. Edim Zomim, Have Mishalmim.
Right.
Well, they have to pay her. Call a ketubah, the full amount of the ketubah, not just the so to speak, not a discounted value, not a full ketubah she has to pay them. Daha ba will say kua, because it is that she's going to lose all of it. Nina from it. She'll lose it all.
What is this word ba'o?
I think that's needs.
Needs?
Yeah.
Ba'u, they were Ba'u means over here they were seeking to.
They were seeking to lose all of it.
Seeking.
All the thing. Well, they were trying to. They didn't know what was going to be on. They're trying to make her lose the whole ketubah. These false witnesses.
Yeah. In other words, since the habo lafsude kula mina, they were seeking. We see here that it comes out that their testimony was seeking to cause her to lose kula, the entire value of the ksuba, to amrei nasan, because as they said in their own testimony,
You have to give her.
nasan, that the husband had already given her the ksuba. And here it is that we see that she actually, if it would have been the case that she actually was divorced, and we had other witnesses who told us that, and so that would mean that she really is entitled to a ksuba because the husband did in fact divorce her. And so now these witnesses were saying, "Oh, he divorced her and he paid her ksuba." Also, that it would come out that with that testimony of, "Oh, they already paid, he already paid her ksuba," that would be undercutting her right to receive the ksuba because she has not yet gotten the ksuba. Rashi's understanding. She's just, but she is obligated to get it because we have witnesses say that he did in fact divorce her, and this is all if it would be the case. Wow! Now that was all in if it would be the case. But now Rashi says aval hashta. But now,
Mashta Shalom, I learned from it. Amida, Atida, we told ketubah. In the future, she will take her ketubah.
What is Li Tol?
Take.
aval hashta. But now Shema eno asida. Maybe now she won't in the future take her ksuba. La'olam, ever. Why?
Well, she's not in the future going to take a future. Shema, because Shema, perhaps she's going to die. She won't get to the point of collecting ketubah because she's going to die before she gets a chance to collect it. The year Shena, her husband then is going to inherit her, and she's not going to get her ketubah. Is not going to go to anybody.
You're going to
find she's not going to lose anything. She's not going to lose anything because she's going to die before she collects that ketubah. Therefore, ein omrim yishalmu lo ketubah. We say that we don't say that we're going to pay her the ketubah. Rather, omnin, we have to make an evaluation. Kamadam rotzel lutain la miyad. How much a man wants to give her immediately. The ketubah for the ketubah now. Alasetik on the Dow. She'im nitarmla v'nikarsha, that she'll either die or be divorced. Lenahu. It'll be bundled. It'll be canceled, so to speak.
If she would be widowed or divorced, then in those two scenarios, she would in fact collect the ksuba. Yitlena, she would take it.
But if she dies, Yershena Balab. But that's the case only if she gets rid of divorce. But if she would die, Yershena Balab, the husband would inherit her, who Yafsid, and he'd lose Mashanatan, whatever he gave. But the meanwhile, in this money, this money.
What is Yafsid?
Lose.
What?
It's a loss. It's a loss. To be a loss.
To
He
be lost.
would lose what he gave. And this value, this value would have to go to the aiding. The Tovat Hana, for that Tovat Hana, that's the word for the discounted amount, the value, so to speak, benefit, the good benefit of this, mafsidino, that would be lost miyad, immediately. She'i tavo l'mochra, if she would come to sell it at a discounted amount for the good of the benefit value, zelo tuchal, this she cannot do. Ovadana koloma devar ma'uk. Ovadana, the meaning of the good of the benefit is to say the amount that it's lessened.
What's muat?
Lessened, ma'at.
Minimal amount.
Be smaller.
So seems like Rashi's understanding that it's not going to be very much, this Tova Sanah, that's going to be given, based upon this chance that the purchaser of the ksuba may not receive anything at all, in the event that the wife predeceases the husband. That's what he means over here. V'im tamus Yoshena Bala. Then her husband will inherit her, and Vahu, and he, the purchaser of the ksuba from the wife, Yafsid Mashanosan, he would lose the whole amount that he gave to the woman to on the gamble that that the ksuba would pay off. He would not get anything. So on that account, it seems like Rashi's saying this what we call the Tova Sanah. Rashi doesn't really translate it literally. This Tova Sanah. He's just explaining how we come to the appraisal of how much the Tova Sanah is, and he just concludes at the end of the day, this Tova Sanah is really a minimal amount, not very much.
So Rashi started out by saying that she gets the whole thing, and ended up by saying she just gets the Tova Sanah.
No, Rashi's saying, what is Rashi saying over here? What is Rashi saying?
The thing is, if she would die, or if she would be divorced or widowed first, she would always get the full amount. If she would die first, then the husband, there would be nothing that would have been gained, because the husband would have inherited her, and there'd be nothing paid out in the ketubah. But obviously, they're going on the old times that the odds of her dying first is much less. It's a small amount, but the odds are she's going to die first. Therefore, the amount that will be lessened wouldn't be that great of her predeceasing him.
The chances that she will die first are very small.
That's what they're saying. That's what Rashi's saying.
Therefore, the Tova Sanah should be very large.
No, well, Rashi doesn't say that the chances of her dying are very small. We don't find over here any discussion about what the chances of this happening or that happening are. That's not the way the calculation works.
So
Rashi's
how
just
does it
saying
work?
what will happen we have three possible scenarios over here. We have three possible scenarios. Rashi says, She'im nis armala o nis garsha, if she is widowed or divorced, so then yitlenu who he will take. We're talking over here about the one who purchased the ksuba from the wife, and we're imagining what's going to happen over here. In these two scenarios, if either of these two scenarios happen, that she becomes widowed or divorced, right now she's neither one. The first thing that Rashi said was, Rashi's issue over here in this whole Rashi is to explain why it is that the Gemorrah says that these Eidim Zomimim do not have to pay her the whole ksuba, because they caused her to lose their testimony was calculated to cause her to lose her ksuba, right? That's the penalty over here, the Eidim Zomim. We do to the Eidim Zomim what they plotted to do to this woman. They plotted to cause this woman to lose her ksuba. But the question is that, well, the Gemorrah says that all they have to pay her is Tovas Hanah of the ksuba, which is not the full amount of the ksuba. So Rashi, in this Rashi, is explaining us why it is that they do not have to pay her the whole amount that it says on the ksuba. And that's what Rashi's first remarks are. He said, because if it would have been the case, if it would have been the case that we had testimony, right? The Gemorrah says that two things. Interestingly, the Gemorrah says we know, number one, he taktov u'mishamashto. She is currently still married to him and living with him. And then at that point, the Eidim that testified that she had been divorced and already paid her ksuba, those witnesses have been denounced as Eidim Zomimim. So now we have to know what's going to be the penalty that these Eidim Zomimim are going to have to pay to this woman. And the Gemorrah says, we're going to do we don't say that she's going to receive the entire ksuba. She's only going to receive the Tovas Hanah of her ksuba. So that's a portion of the full amount of the ksuba. Rashi calls it a davar mu'atz. It's been discounted from the total value of the ksuba. How much? Rashi doesn't say exactly how much it is. That's but it's a discounted amount. It's far from the full amount of the ksuba. So Rashi's explaining us why is it that she's not paid the full ksuba. Rashi first starts out saying because if it would have been the case that we would have had witnesses that told us, testified to us that she in fact is divorced, and not like we know it to be. We know it that she's living with him as a wife right now. But if it would have been the case that we had witnesses that testified that in fact that she was divorced, so then when these witnesses that say that she was divorced and she was also paid her ksuba, when they are when they are denounced as Eidim Zomimim, that's the case that they would have to pay her the full amount of the ksuba, because that's what their testimony would have done. It would have caused her to lose the full amount of the ksuba, because they were saying that she was already given her ksuba, and here we have witnesses who say that she was only divorced, and she's entitled to have a ksuba. So that would be the only scenario where she would get the whole ksuba. Then Rashi in the third line says, Aval, but Hashta, Shema Eno Osida Lito Ksubasta, La'olam. In the situation that we have right now, she is not actually divorced. She's not actually divorced. The Gemorrah says that we see that she's living with her husband, and these witnesses who said that she was divorced, they have been refuted. They're Eidim Zomimim. So we throw out their testimony. So at this point, she is currently married to her husband, and their testimony was calculated to cause her to lose the ksuba. What part of the ksuba? The tovas anah of the ksuba. Why the tovas anah of the ksuba? A discounted amount of the full amount. So that's what Rashi is explaining over here, because it's Rashi says maybe she won't ever get to her ksuba at all. Because why? Because maybe she'll pass away before the husband does, and then the husband will inherit her, and then it will come out that she didn't lose anything at all. It'll come out that she didn't lose. She did. Nimsa shelo hayu mafsidin osa klum. It will come out that their false testimony did not actually cause her any loss whatsoever, because what ended up happening was that she was not going to get a ksuba. So Rashi says, "Lefikak ein omrim yishalmenu la kol ksubasa." Therefore, we do not say that the Eidim Zomimim have to pay her the full amount of the ksuba. And then Rashi continues, Ela omdim kama adam rotza litein la miyad biksubasa. How much? How we make a omdim? We make an appraisal. The Beis Din makes an appraisal. Kama adam rotza litein la. How much would a person be willing to pay her right now, miyad, that she's married to her husband, biksubasa, to receive the right to receive the proceeds of that ksuba? Ala suffix. And it's all a big doubt. What's the big doubt? So then Rashi says, we got three different possibilities that could happen. Shim yisarmala, o nisgarsha, yitlenahu. If in the event that she ends up getting widowed or divorced, so then yitlenahu, he will take the ksuba. True, he would take the ksuba. Ve'im tamuz, but if she predeceases the husband, yeshenu balo, then the husband will inherit her. V'hu yapsid mashanasan. And then he, the purchaser of that ksuba, would lose the entire amount that he paid for that ksuba. The damim halalu yitnu lo ha'edim. So that amount that the Beis Din makes that appraisal about, that amount of damim, that will be what the Beis Din says that these Eidim Zomimim have to pay her as the penalty for causing her this loss.
What amount is that amount?
So Rashi doesn't tell us an exact amount. Rashi just says the tovas anazu mafsidin osa miyad, because this tovas anah, this reduced amount of the ksuba is the amount that they caused her to lose right now. She'im tavo lemochra. in the event that she would right now, being married to the husband, would go ahead and sell this ksuba, the right to receive the proceeds of this ksuba to a purchaser, the tovas hana zu, with this for this tovas hana. And then Rashi just ends up tovas hana kloimar. What does it mean, tovas hana? Davar muat. He doesn't translate the words literally. It's not the literal translation of the words. He just says davar muat, a discounted, a reduced amount from the amount that's written in the ksuba itself.
We don't know from Rashi whether it's a big discount or a little discount. We just know it's a discount, correct?
Well, I think the davar muat, the meaning is it's not a very large amount. Instead of saying that it's a discounted amount, I would translate the words davar muat as the literal translation of the word davar muat is a small amount. That's how I would translate the words.
So
maybe the Art Scroll doesn't translate it like that, but that's the way I would translate it.
Well, Art Scroll doesn't translate the Rashi. So the reason I'm asking is because it seems to me that at least by today's standards, it's very common for a woman to outlive her husband. If you go to an old age home, you'll see many women and very few men. So it seems that between the possibility of being divorced and the possibility of being widowed, it's significantly more likely that the purchaser will in fact collect. And therefore the discount should be a small amount. It should be equal to, I don't know, 60, 70, 80% of what the full value of the ketubah is.
Is that what I don't know. I mean, it's a gamble though. It's a gamble. He could lose all of his money.
I don't think we're
lose all of his money.
Yeah, but I don't think we're talking about the amount that that he would collect. We're talking about the amount that would actually be discounted. How much is the discount from the full value? That's the question. That it's only a small amount. Whatever the ketubah was Matayim before. Now, what's left out of it, you collect that much less out of it. If you collect almost the full thing, only a little bit. So it's not really.
You want to say davar muat is the amount that they reduce the ksuba from its full value.
Right, that could be a possibility, that they don't reduce it that much.
Right.
Really, what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out how much the Eidim Zomim pay for faking out this issue. That's what we're trying to. That's what this whole thing's about. The Eidim Zomim. How much do we make them pay him because of what's lost?
They make them pay her.
They can pay her.
They have to pay her. They testified against her.
Okay. Oh, so if they testify against her, then they have to pay her. Right.
So the purchaser is gambling that she will either be divorced or widowed, in which case he'll get the ketubah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's a risky investment. He could lose the whole thing. That's not such a good investment.
Yeah, but there are cases in Kedushin, I don't think it's covered here. I do sort of remember that there are cases. How much is this amount? There is an actual amount that somebody can, so to speak, sell the ketubah to somebody else. It's a document that she's allowed to sell to somebody else, but she'd sell it to them for a reduced amount because they may never collect it. You know, I'll take so much just to have the money now. I can't wait. I'll take the money now, and you now have the right to collect my ketubah instead of me. If it actually comes to fruition that she gets paid because she dies, because she gets divorced, he dies first. That's the chance they're taking.
Let's say he says, I'm going to go buy a whole bunch of these discounted kesuvas. And some of them I'll collect, some of them I won't collect. So he could do an actuarial accounting and determine that in 90% of the cases, I'm going to collect, which means if I buy 100 of these, I'm going to collect 90 of them. It becomes much less of a matter of risk and much more of a matter of simple mathematics.
But that doesn't, that may be true, but if all he's buying is one, and that one horse may not come in. He may lose the whole amount.
But the market evaluates these risk factors, and the market comes up with a value based on the mathematics and the probabilities, not based on the emotions.
Well, no, actually, what Rashi's telling us is how much will this man pay for it? How much will this purchaser, man or a woman, whoever it is, how much are they going to risk? How much would they be willing to risk? Yeah, they might make the whole ksuba. On the other hand, they might lose the whole thing.
Well, let's say that he figures out the probability of getting the ketuvah is 80%. So he says, I'll tell you what, I'll give you 75%. It's a good bet. He's got a 5% advantage. It's just like if I'm betting you about flipping a coin, and you say it'll come up heads, and I say it'll come up tails. So I'll bet you $100 it comes up heads.
Putting down 100 zoos. You're talking about a person putting down a significant amount of money,
right?
And he might lose the whole thing.
Right, but he might win the whole thing.
What does he need it for? What's he need it for?
He's an investor. That's how he makes his money.
No, this person's not an investor. He's an average person. He doesn't have money to play around with. He's not a millionaire. He's an average person. Is he going to put down a significant amount of money, 100 zoos, on the possibility that he might get 200 zoos? If he might also lose the 100 zoos that he put down? I'm not sure that he would put it down.
It depends on how risk averse he is. When you go to a money manager and you say, I want to create an investment portfolio, one of the things that he's going to ask you is, well, how risk averse are you? Do you want to take a big chance in the hopes of getting a big return? Or do you want to take a small chance and most probably only get a small return? Usually they'll advise you, if you're young, you should take a bigger chance, because in the long term, you're gonna end up getting more money. But if you're older and you feel like, oh, I'm gonna need this money, I can't take a chance of losing my money, because otherwise I won't be able to eat. So then you say, I'm highly risk averse.
Yeah, I think the Gemorrah understands that most people are not interested in taking such a risk that they may lose all of their money. I think that what it means over here, I understand. I think that Phil has an interesting svara to say that davar mu'at means the discounted amount from the ksuba is minimal, but I'm looking over here on the side of the page. There's a Rashi in Ksubis, a companion Gemorrah. I think it quotes, it's the same Gemorrah over here as we have over here in Bava Kama. Ksubis Pei Hey Amid Beis, that Rashi, he's much more clear. He says, Eino lokcha ela b'damim muatim. You will only be acquired this ksuba for damim muatim.
A small amount of money.
It's talking about the amount of the ksuba, the amount of the tovas. You won't be acquired for anything more than damim muatim.
I think we got to stop for now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, take care.
Very good.
Thank you, Rabbi. Appreciate your.
All right, thank you. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
All the best to everybody. Bye to Lou, and bye to Alan, and bye to Roy.
And
Bye
see
to
you.
Bill.
Have a good day.
Take care.
Okay,
All the
bye-bye.
best.